There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Princess of the Universe. Hi, folks, I'm Matt, and I am all alone again. This is one that Bruce would really be good at, I think. Well, he hasn't seen most of these TV shows, but I did want him around for this. But he didn't have time to watch the shows. One he wasn't interested in, the Tiger King series. What was the other one I've watched? Oh, Dexter. I'm going to talk about, and he just didn't have time for it. And then the Marvel one-shots, which I don't know. Recently, I would say, because I click on Marvel, the little Spidey-Man adventures, the CGI little kitty Spider-Man adventures with Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider and Miles Morales. And I turn those on for the girls all the time. And tonight, when I was going to go do it, or this was actually a few weeks ago when this airs, I saw the Marvel one-shots on there. I was like, oh, they added them all, because they used to just have the two. And I watched those, and I guess everyone started watching those. So now they're like, oh, well, it's more schlock we can throw up on the screen. Let's put them all up there. So they did, and so I thought, well, you know what? I have enough material here to review all the one-shots, or, besides the ones I already reviewed, and then talk about, good or bad. Go into, I saw Tiger King 2 and the other spinoff of the Doc Antley story. So I said, okay, I just recently finished those. And most importantly, and the one that I was going to talk about anyway, was Dexter. Season, whatever. Well, Dexter New Blood. I guess it's its own kind of season. And I was hoping that Bruce would be able to watch those. He just doesn't have the time right now. He only has one free day a week and just not much time to do much in it. So that's fine. I was happy to do it. I'm not going to force someone else to watch the series, especially if they don't remember Dexter or didn't like Dexter. But so first off, maybe I'll do this backwards on the ones I watched. Maybe that's the right way to do this. I'm not sure. But we're going to start with a few things from the Marvel era, I guess, first, is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about these Marvel one-shots. If you don't know, one-shots are roughly short stories, about 3 to 4 minutes long, just one little mini adventure that happens before or after a big movie. Sometimes definitely starring characters that you know, sometimes the star of a show. They're all playing on Disney Plus right now. And it is recommended for the most part. You should see them. I've already talked about All Hail the King, which I think is hilarious. Ben Kingsley's great. Item 47, I don't really care that much about it all. But it's not the worst now that I've ranked these all. Let me see. I'll get to the worst one. I'll rank these in a minute. Let me talk about these. So kind of going when they came out. The first two came out in 2011. I want to say around the time of, definitely around the time of Thor. It's the first Thor, I think. These came out. The first one's called The Consultant. Agent Coulson is in it, and he's having a talk with somebody else. I can't remember the guy's name. I want to say it was Jasper Sitwell. I could be totally wrong on this because it's been a while. Like just a few minutes ago. But I think that's what the SHIELD agent's name was. They're having coffee in a diner, and he says, hey, so General Ross and the government, as they're forming the Avengers, what will be the Avengers, they said, hey, look, they want the Abomination. This is one of the few, I think maybe the only thing that mentions the Hulk. I mean, Abomination, I think, was it featured in what movie recently? Was it the event? No, it was Doctor Strange. No, it was Spider-Man. I can't remember. Shang-Chi. I think maybe he was in Shang-Chi. Abomination was fighting in this world. But Abomination in the Hulk movie is basically disregarded. It is part of the MCU, but no one thinks about it anymore. But this is back before the Avengers were made, and so they still thought Edward Norton would be part of the series, or maybe they hoped. And it shows a scene of Tim Roth's Abomination tearing through the town and saying, wait a minute, they want him over the Hulk? He said, yeah. Well, he said, what about all that damage he caused? They said, well, yeah, but Emil is the guy who was the Abomination. He said, Emil is a war hero, and he does have some problems, but they want to make him, they feel like Bruce Banner can't be controlled. He's a loose cannon. So they'd rather it be Abomination, Emil. And he's like, I think that's a bad call. He said, oh, yes, definitely a bad call. This guy's a psycho. But General Ross, from the movie, the first Hulk movie, or the Incredible Hulk movie with Edward Norton, says, he's holding him in a prison. Or actually, Phil Coulson, Agent Coulson, says that he has a level 7 clearance, which is higher than level 6. There's something higher than level 6. And so how do we convince General Ross? Because they're listening to General Ross's recommendation because he didn't like the Hulk. Well, how do we get him to change his mind? Well, we could bring in the consultant, is what they say. Say, oh, not the consultant. He's like, oh, no, never in a million years. And so then they call the consultant. And he sits down at the bar, and General Ross, William Hurt, who played General Ross, is back. He's sitting at the bar. He's like, oh, he's like, what are you doing here? And of course, it's Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. is in it. And he's basically just talking about let's talk about a few things. And of course, pisses the Thaddeus Ross off so much that he decides not to give the Abomination a recommendation, which means the Hulk will eventually be a Avenger. I have talked way too much. The time it took me to explain that is probably the time it takes for this whole thing to play through, to be honest. It's only a few minutes long. It's fine. You get a guest star appearance from Tony Stark. There is no, as they say, stinger at the end of this. In fact, I don't think any of well, maybe All Hail the King had one. I think All Hail the King had a little bit of a stinger at the end of the credits. And there's another one too, which I'll talk about in a minute. But the next one, it was a funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer. I want to say this was included in the Thor DVD. But basically, Agent Coulson goes by a gas station. He's trying to decide between chocolate covered and powdered donuts, and the place is getting robbed all of a sudden. He waves his hand that he's here. They tell him to shut up and stay with his hands up. He's like, okay. He said, hey guys, do I need to give you this gun? I have a gun, because he has to throw the keys to the car over to him, and then they say, yeah, slide it over here. So he slides the gun, and as the guy reaches down to get the gun, he throws a bag of flour in the other villain's face, the other robber's face, to kind of blind him, and then Coulson runs and does a jump kick. Kicks the gun, kicks his face. Basically, just is a bad A for a while, and kicks both of the robbers and knocks them unconscious. And then he tells the lady, the joke is, hey, I couldn't decide between the two donuts, so I'm getting them both. And he goes, keep the change. And she goes, what do I tell them when the cops arrive? He went, just tell them those Taibo lessons really paid off. Waka waka waka, and he's gone. I mean, it's fun. My girls, for some reason, love this one. It's 3 minutes long. It's one flop joke there, and then you move on. Item 47, I talked about the two people who became crooks finding that weapon that worked from the first Avengers movie. Agent Carter is the longest one out of all these. It's 15 minutes long because they love to torture me. It starts with the ending, or where Captain America is about to die. We think he's going to die in the first. It happens after Captain America. And now she's kind of stuck at a desk job. And it's hopefully, maybe this was the pilot before she got her own atrocious show. But what a terrible pilot to have, because it's the same old thing. The men go out and do the jobs. She stays and does the paperwork. But she already has the paperwork done. Because she already knew they were going to ask for it. Hey, Agent Carter, I need these. I need this report, and I need it by tomorrow. No later than. And she went, how about yesterday? You're like, idiot men, I already figured it out before you that you needed this before you did. And so then at the end of the day, she's kind of bummed because she won't go on missions, and the boss is like, hey, let the men take over. It's not the war anymore, Peggy, or whatever. And then he goes, hey, Carter, he said, we're all going out for drinks. And she's like, oh, yay, like they're going to invite me. He said, we were wondering if you could stay here, finish up that report, and then clean up the place a little bit. See ya. And they all go off because they're men. Ha 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 ha. This is why Agent Carter failed as a TV show, because it's so stupid. It's so stupid. No one acted like that. I'm sure that, women weren't treated the best back in the day, but there's no way that they treat her it's like she's Cinderella. So she's having to, poor Agent Carter, having to stay the night working on boring files where the boys go party. Well, then that's when a phone rings and it's a case. It requires 3 to 5 agents at the very least, but only one Agent Carter. Yeah. And so, of course, she beats up thug after thug without messing up her hair or anything. She's super powerful. I mean, this is Agent Mary Sue. This is why Agent Carter failed as a TV show, and I could only watch, what, 3.5 episodes, 4 episodes, before I was like, I can't do this anymore. Because this is what Agent Carter was. This is 15 minutes of her blowing it in their face that every boy is stupid. She's the smartest person in the world. And then at the end, what happens? At the end, her boss is angry. He said, Agent Carter, you going to tell me something? She went, I don't know what you mean, boss. He's like, you went on a mission last night. She went, no, I completed a mission. And I got everything. He's like, whatever. You're only here because people feel sorry for you after Captain America died, and you're not a real agent or whatnot. Just kind of puts her down. And then of course he gets a call from Howard Stark, and he's like, hey, what is it? I want Agent Carter to run S.H.I.E.L.D. And I want you to say, it is with my greatest pleasure when you give her the news. Kind of rubs it in. So the guy has to go up to Agent Carter, and he's like, it's my honor to tell you that Howard Stark wants you to be the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. now. And he goes, and then he tries to hold, he's trying to hold out a what's it called? The peace leaf or whatever it's called, I can't remember what it's called right now. But he's trying to, kind of in a way to apologize. He went, and I'd be happy to help you pack up your desk and carry, or I'd help you carry your stuff out to the car. He's being a gentleman. But of course, Agent Carter goes, Agent so-and-so, just like I always have. No, just like always, I never needed your help. Ooh, stuck it to the man who was trying to be apologetic and sorry. I mean, it seemed like he was trying to be nice and just kind of saying, okay, you know what? This is over. You won. You were right. I was wrong. Let me at least help you. And she's like, no, because I don't need no man. And that right there tells you Agent Carter was doomed from the very beginning. No guy wants to watch that. It's okay that the girl can be the lead. It's okay the girl can be the super spy and everything. But that's just too ridiculous. That's just too ridiculous. It is the worst. By far, it is the worst. The worst is Agent Carter. Second worst is Item 47. Third worst. Ooh, this is hard. I say worst, but now we're getting to better ones. Let's say funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer. So that would make, where are we now? Oh yeah, the consultant a little bit better. And then even more better is Oh Hell the King. That was great. But finally, there's the Team Thor series. Now, they said this came out in 2016 through 2018. Did one come out a year? Because it's part 1, part 2, and then a different type of team story. But it's all together. This happened before and maybe after the Thor movie came out. Maybe 2 came out in 2016 to kind of get you pumped up for Thor. I don't know when the third Thor movie came out, but let's say 2017 it came out. And then 2018 they did a wrap-up, short for it. But these are phenomenal. They are great. They are excellent. In fact, it's Chris Hemsworth playing Thor, talking about kind of wondering why he wasn't involved in the Civil War. Because Tony Stark or Steve Rogers never called him. Mark Ruffalo is in it as Bruce Banner, and it's hilarious because Tony Stark calls him, begging him to come on his side. He's like, I'm not going to get in your pissing contest with Steve. I already told you that. He went, hey, Thor's here. Do you want to talk to him? He said, not right now. He's busy. But he said, and then Thor goes, well, tell him to contact me. And he said, Thor says to contact him. He said, well, he said, you don't have a phone. He went, that's true. Oh, have him send a message to me by Raven. It's just great. Like Thor's showing, he has a roommate named, oh gosh, I remembered his name. It's like, I can't remember his name. Some just lame little name. Josh or something. And not that that's a lame name, but just a normal guy. It's just a normal guy he's a roommate with. And he's showing off his room. He's been cooking meat in the hot sun for 3 days. It's almost ready. I mean, just all this crazy stuff. And it has a part 1 and a part 2. It's absolutely friggin' great. I laughed several times. I got my wife to watch it. She did not laugh one single time. Maybe she broke a smile. She didn't enjoy as much as I did, but I laughed my patootie off. Yes, a patootie. And I say, And the last one is called Team. I think his name is Jared, maybe, and because or Team Greg or something, because that's what the third one is called. And Jeff Goldblum is in it. He's the Grand Master again. And oh my Lanta, it just gets cranked up to an 11 with Jeff Goldblum going on and on as the Grand Master, because his right hand, his number two person, got killed in the movie. So he's trying to recruit this new guy, Thor's old roommate, as his number two guy. And, they're roommates because he wants to take over Earth, he's decided one day. He makes a little YouTube video, gets one view. It's him who is watching it. And then later on, they refresh it. It's gotten 2 views. He's like, yes, we've doubled it. We're good. We're on our way to world domination. It's just really goofy. He melts one of his friends and then wants to apologize for it later. Say, well, maybe you should just apologize to your mom. So they role play what it would like to be apologizing to his mom. And it's just goofy and whimsical and so much fun. I don't want to ruin too much about this one because it really is so funny. I could not stop laughing. I loved all of them. There is a teaser in the first one. No, excuse me. There's not a teaser in any of these. There's the other teaser was an Agent Carter, and it was kind of funny. It's the guy with the brown bowler cap from Captain America. I can't remember his name, but he's sitting at the pool. He's like, what's it called again? He's like, a bikini. He said, who came up with it? You did, Tony? He's like, no, the French. He goes, okay. And then he's looking at, and they're like, 40s bikinis that they're really modestly clad bikinis. But he looked at him. You hear him mouth out the word bikini, again. And it's just like he can't get his eyes off the bikini girls. And like I said, they're not really that scantily clad, but they're showing a midriff, which is what he's like, woo, wooby dooby. Something Marvel would not make now because you can't have men ogle women now. So, but still, I thought it was a really funny clip, and it was a funny ending. The only thing good about Agent Carter probably was that ending there. So there you have it. There you have it. Should you watch the one shots? Yeah, they only take. I mean, you can skip Agent Carter for realsies. Skip Agent Carter. It'll take you about 20 minutes maybe to watch them all, and it's fun. It's short too. I love it. Short, got that done, tied under my belt here. If I could talk about it for a little bit more, I'd have one whole episode on just Marvel one-shots. But I do want to talk about the other TV things that I watched as well. The next one I'm going backwards here. Tiger King Season 2. I, like everyone during the pandemic, watched Tiger King. I thought it was enjoyable, fun, moved on. I didn't want there to be a Tiger King 2. There was. I didn't even know that one was I kind of thought one was coming out. I'd heard it announced. But then I didn't know it came out in November. I just didn't even realize it. I was busy getting a home and moving at that time when it came out too. So it just like slipped under my radar. Someone told me about it. One of Megan's friends did. She said it was worth watching in the little spinoff, the Doc Antley story. And so I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And she really liked it. And as I was watching it again, yeah, it's good. If you like Tiger King, it's more of that. The first episode, they're trying to, it takes place around January 6th. They're trying to get Trump to, I didn't even know this, but during January 6th, they were there on Occupy the White House. They just left early. Trump's people didn't want them, or Trump supporters didn't want them there. This is not about freeing this guy, Joe Exotic. It's about, the president getting ripped, cheated out of an election, get out of here. So they decide to leave because the crowds get ugly. And then, of course, crowds get super ugly, I guess. But they did leave. So they have footage of them being at the White House back then, trying to get Trump to wave it. And they were sure, they were confident that Trump was going to, and I remember this because they thought, is he going to, because that's usually when a president's leaving. That's when he, frees a lot of the criminals or forgives a lot of criminals or whatnot. And it's always scandalous, whichever side you're on, Democrat or Republican. Everyone is scandalized. Oh, look who he, pardoned. And he's so evil. Okay, it's going to happen. It happens to every president. Pardons evil people, their friends, or does it as last minute favors. It's a time old corrupt tradition. Okay, you can get mad both ways on that, and you should get mad both ways on that because those guys went to prison usually for a reason. Now, they talked about evidence where Joe Exotic was set up, and it does appear They have a phone recording that he was indeed set up. Like he did not. I mean, he talked about and kidded about killing Carol Baskin, but yet no, the whole money set up sending a killer down there, that was all a lie. Even the assassin, the supposed assassin, why is he not in prison? Because they knew it was just a lie. Like the prosecution knew it was a lie. They just wanted to get Joe Exotic for something or whatever. And I was like, oh, shut up. So it does look like he will get out of jail eventually, I'm guessing. I don't know. But if this came out last year, the trial will probably be next year or this later on this year. I don't know. So I do expect him to have his sentence shortened, or maybe he's out early. Joey Exotic comes back only in unshown footage, and then or previously shown footage, and then he's in the jail cell on a video phone, giving some of his dialogue. But it's mainly just about all his. Carol has an episode based off her. It's only 5 episodes, which is a really good thing. If it was like 13, I was going to be like, yeah, I don't know if I can do this. But 5, I was like, I can do 5. They didn't wear out their welcome because they knew they didn't have much left. The story had been told. But what else can we say? Well, one about his freedom, one about Carol Baskin, one about that Tim guy from another wildlife place and how his end came around, and that was kind of interesting. One about Jeff Lowe and the fat guy who rides jet skis and how they set him up, the assassin. It talks about a lawyer working for Joe. He was working for the family of Carol Baskin's first husband, but they fired him after a commercial that aired right during Dancing with the Stars when Carol Baskin was on Dancing with the Stars. Holy cow. I didn't even know that happened, but supposedly it happened. And the family just after filming the commercial, the family thought it was tacky. I don't know, but they were in the commercial. The family was, but they just felt it was tacky, so they dropped him. I think there were other reasons because the family's kind of crazy. They hired a psychic and then some YouTube guy who's an internet detective. He has an internet detective show. Yeah, okay, you're bat crap crazy. And so, kind of mixing that in with the lawyers, they find the craziest people. A defense attorney who can sing, or someone who works in the state, a state attorney who is an Elvis impersonator on his free time. It's like, where do you find these characters? A lawyer who really cares about getting TV and getting in the news and stuff, and kind of being a famous, crazy lawyer. And of course, he's hooked up with Joe Exotic now, but he does have a case because like I said, Alan, the would-be assassin, said, no, it's all a lie. He said, I have proof because he recorded. These people must have been so paranoid. They recorded calls and everything of each other. That's just insane to me. And so, overall, yeah, it was decent because it looks like there may be a season 3 if he gets out. I think they're waiting to see if he gets acquitted and see his return. And they'll probably be because oh, good gravy. Netflix has a little bit of a hit, and they want to keep that hit going. I don't know what the streaming numbers were for Tiger King 2. It definitely wasn't something I heard people talking about that much. I never brought it up, but no one ever talked about it to me. Like I said, that the first time I ever heard about it was probably January. Late January, I think I heard about it. Maybe early February. I can't remember. That's when I first heard about it. I was like, huh. My wife was somewhat interested, but she just rather hear the whole story from her friend and just give her the highlights. I don't think my wife was interested in plugging through 5 episodes. Like I said, for 5 episodes, I'll watch it. Um, the other one was the Doc Antley story. Doc Antley was another guy who was featured in Tiger King. He's really full of himself. He's a character, but they go into it's only a 3-episode spinoff, which is worth your time. But this guy, ooh, he preyed on 14-year-olds, married a few, slept with many, and like I said, you have one coming out of the woodwork, but it seems like there were several, and the moms are telling you, yeah, they ran away with Doc Antley, and I wasn't happy about it, but I know as I kept fighting my daughter, it kept pushing her further and further away, so I just waited till she got a little bit older, and then I knew she'd come back to me, So, I mean, it's just kind of, yikes, it does not look good for him. He's if he hasn't already lost his zoo, he's going to, it looks like. I mean, he's just a lot of bad things with him. And I know he's pissed. I know he's shown in it a little bit here and there, but kind of blocking off the interviewer when he talks about his past. He went, no, I will say I was promiscuous in my past. I mean, But I'm not going to talk about that's the past. Why would I talk about the past? He's all full of himself, thinking he can't be taken down, but he's going to be in big trouble after this. That was not a flattering series for him. But overall, the Tiger King 2 and Doc Antley story. If you like Tiger King, yes, watch them. It's fun. It's fun. It's good stuff still. You'll enjoy it. Finally is Dexter New Blood. It took me forever to watch this only because when it came out, it was during the holidays. I was so busy. I wanted to watch it. It finished. We waited for it to finish. Then we waited a few more weeks, and my wife and I finally watched it. She fell asleep through half the episodes. Hated the ending. A lot of people hated the ending. I don't know if I'm going to do spoilers here yet. But I loved it. I thought that Clancy, is it Jones or whatever? I don't know. Kurgan from Highlander is in it. He is fantastic. He's a great villain. Definitely better than the Doomsday Killer and more memorable than it's the most memorable season since season 5. I know everyone says Trinity Killer, but I can remember season 5 really well too. The Hannah episode, which that ties into the new season really well. Of course, if I'll spoil a little bit here of it, not too much, but Harrison, his son, is grown up, comes back, and Dexter's trying again to be a dad, but his past is being revealed. There is one guest star from the original show. Again, a little bit of spoilers here. That's Angel Hernandez, because he's the only one who's probably still alive from the original season, I guess. I think a lot of them got killed off at the end. Well, his forensic buddy probably didn't. But Angel Hernandez makes sense. He's only featured kind of guest stars in 2 episodes, but it's done well. The new cast is good. Like I said, the villain is good. Dexter trying to keep away his past, but then his past getting caught up with him. And it seems like he's getting more and more, things are getting out of hand. The last episode, like, oh no, everything's going to crap again. And then the ending happens, and I'm going to spoil it here. So just let me just before I spoil anything else. If you want to watch Dexter, if you saw the series and you didn't see New Blood, see New Blood. See it. You'll love it. You may be pissed off at the end. I was not. I understood why they did what they did. Now, I thought it was a better ending than what we got in season 8 or whatever it was. Okay, so no. Before I go in spoilers, if you haven't seen Dexter, should you watch it all? Yes. Stop listening. Go watch Dexter. It's really good. It's really entertaining. Yes, it peaks in season 4. Season 4 is the best season by far, but season 5 is good. There's some decent stuff in the last season too. It doesn't end very well. It ends actually terribly. But with the new season, I think it's great. It makes sense. It takes place years later. And it's great. All right, so anyway, that's it. Now we're spoiling the ending here. Obviously, at the end, spoiler. Are you done? Dexter's dead. Okay, he dies at the end. And I can see why people hated that. But at the same time, the people at Showtime were tired of, I bet, everyone asking them for more Dexter, because people love Dexter. But I'm sure Michael C. Hall was like, guys, I'm kind of done with this character. I don't want to do this arc anymore. And they said, okay, how about this? And they presented him with something where Dexter dies at the end. And it's done better. Dexter's a bad man. At the end of season 8, he has to live a life of his own. People weren't happy with that. It's like, well, we're cheering for Dexter, though. Everyone wants Dexter to get away with it and live on. But this one kind of makes more sense, because whatever lives Dexter takes over, he destroys. Whenever he enters in someone's life, he destroys their lives. And it shows all the past seasons of all the people's lives he's destroyed, which I thought was brilliant. And that's where he comes to terms with his son. His son is the one pointing a gun at him who will kill him. And he says, you're right. You're right. I am a monster only because of what my life does to all of my friends and close family. So he lets his son kill him. This one makes a little bit better sense than the first one did. And yeah, it sucks. You want Dexter to get away for another day. You want there to be another season. But like my friend Tim from Open Air Light Policy says, all good things must have an end. And that's a good point he makes. We want things to go on forever because we love them so much, but they need to end eventually. And that's what they did. They had some finality with Dexter New Blood. By the way, there's not really a intro music. It's basically just all in ice. It's real quick. I love it. I love the style. I love that Deb, his sister, is the ghost now. At first, I was upset that wasn't his dad, but I get why Deb is in it now, and I'm glad that she was. the Ghost in this season. They didn't need his dad anymore. They could have had his dad for a little bit and have him fade out and have Deb take over. That would have been nice. But either way, the series is it's really good. New Blood. I enjoyed it. You'll love it. At least you'll love it all the way to the end. My wife loved it all the way to the end. Said that sucked. like 99% of people did. But I was like, you know what? It has to come to an end. And this is an ending I can accept. I'm happy with this. They don't have to make any more Dexter now. I don't want any more Dexter. It was a great season. Let's move on. Let's end on this high note and let it be. So there you go. There is my TV review. Folks, I will see you next week with Wes on Princes of the Universe.